following is a paid political announcement.
This is Marty Dolan. I ran against Jamal Bowman and AOC because I believe New York City needs to turn away from socialism after 5 years of disastrous policies. Now I'm running for public advocate so we can get New York City back to basics and focus on the municipal excellence you deserve. Go to martydolan.org to find out how you can help. I'm Marty Dolan. I approve this message, paid for by Marty Dolan for office.
Well, there it was last night, the magic of my New York Mets. Unbelievable. Again, from 0-5 to OMG. No surprise. I really feel like at this point, they can win every game. It doesn't matter whether they're down in the ninth, 2 outs. You know, I think Howie Rose said last night this was maybe the greatest win ever. I would slow down just a bit. Let me remind him about 86 against the Red Sox in the World Series. But almost every night the Mets are doing this miracle stuff. The magic is back, and they move on now. What's funny, too, is that Pete Alonso, as you just heard, hit the game-winning home run, and everybody is killing Alonso for having a terrible season. I guess. I mean, he hit 34 home runs this year. That led the club. One more than Francisco Lindor. He knocked in 88 runs. Now, I know he hit 240, left a lot of guys on base. I know. It was a bad year for Alonso. But just imagine, all these Met fans wanted to dump Alonso months ago. He still led the club with 34 home runs. He hits the biggest home run of his career last night, and the Mets move on. So let's slow down with Alonso. Had a terrible season. Not the best for a walk year, but in the end, he comes up big, and the Mets win. My next guest does a great job after me every weekday morning on 77 WABC. Comes your way at 10 o'clock. Fox and Friends on Fox News, and his own great show, One Nation, 9 p.m. on Fox News on Saturday night. He is the great Brian Kilmeade. Now, Brian, you're a Nassau County guy, and most guys in Nassau County, especially Pete King, they're huge Met fans. I don't even know, are you a Met fan or a Yankee fan?
Yeah. But I'm not a Yankee hater. But I mean, to me, I'm not a hater. I'm a Giant fan, but I don't hate the Jets. I am a Met fan. That's how I grew up in a Yankee household. But I never hated the Yankees. So through all those, from the Thurman Munson days to the Jesse Barfield on the team and Oscar Gamble, to the struggling days, to the emergence of the Mets in '86, to with the Yankee dynasty in the '90s, I could appreciate both. But this team was pretty amazing. I was on a plane, forced to listen to the national feed, where I'm watching Pete Alonso up with 2 men on, hits a homer, and I'm listening to the game, and they're like, okay, long fly ball, and it's gone. I'm like, why don't you just openly just root for the Brewers? I'm thinking to myself, what planet am I on? Yeah. Was this the most dramatic thing I've ever seen? And then the plane erupted because we landed in LaGuardia at the time. So it was pretty amazing. I did watch in game 2, and they 3 outs away from winning, and then they blew that, but they don't care. They just come ripping back. And what's pretty amazing is I like the old-fashioned thing where where teams come together along the way. I mean, this team is not an all-star team. They weren't built to win now. They said we hope to be competitive, and they opened up 0-5, 22-36. They weren't competitive. Everyone's saying, oh, my goodness, what is Steve Cohen doing? The money can't buy success. He's been overstating what he wants. He's acting like a fan. We got to put somebody else in charge. And this thing just turns around. The second best record in the second half after San Diego. And I don't think they fear Philadelphia.
No, they played the Phillies 13 times this season. They won 6. Philly holds the edge 7-6. But the Mets did win that last series. And at this point, they don't care about anybody. Let's face it. And David Stearns did a very good job for the Mets this year. Their manager, Mendoza, one of the greatest managerial jobs I've ever seen. 58 years on this planet, maybe the greatest managerial job I've ever seen based upon the expectations in March, the very, very slow start. No one could have predicted they'd be in the NLDS. So it is a great story. It's a great story for New York. And God knows, before we get to the politics, that with as messy as New York is, with this mayor and all of his nonsense, man, he's helped destroy this city. I mean, de Blasio destroyed it first, but Adams hasn't helped it. And this governor and all the crap going on in New York, this is a good time for the Mets and Phillies and the Yankees and Royals. Don't you think?
I mean, the Yankees, this is the best chance they've ever had to skate right back to the World Series. I mean, they lose their nemesis. Astros are gone. Orioles gave them a hard time. They are gone. I mean, this should be the time the Yankees get to the World Series. Look, I think it was 93 wins. You know, in other years, that might not have made the playoffs when used to, you know, or the wild card. But the best record in the American League. So, you know, then you got the Dodgers and Phillies. But this is the year they series, I think. You know, the pitching staff, is not great. It's good. But the offense is uneven, but at times can be flat out awesome. Can you? Gleyber Torres starts hitting. They start getting offense out of the shortstop, and they really didn't get much from first base this year. So they made some good moves down the stretch. Brian Cashman, they said you should have made major moves. We got to get rid of Cashman. Now they got the best record in the American League and favor to go back to the World Series.
Yeah, but the pressure, like you say, is on them to get to the World Series. The Mets, they're playing with house money. No matter what happens to the Mets against the Phillies, they've just had a magical season. The Yankees, all the pressure is on, like you said, to get back to the World Series. Brian Kilmeade here. Let's talk about my day tomorrow. Tomorrow night, I'm heading back to Israel, second time since October the 7th. I'll be doing the show Monday from an Army base in a bomb shelter. Not even kidding. Army base in a bomb shelter, walking distance from the Gaza border where Hamas is still located there in Rafah. But the bigger news is that while I am going to be there, I've got a dinner with President Herzog coming up. There's a good chance I'll see Bibi on Tuesday night. Is that President Trump is actually calling in on Monday, this show 8 a.m., because he wants to take part in something on October the 7th. And, of course, he knows me and Israel, that relationship. So how about the fact that President Trump will find time this Monday, October 7th, to call into me to Israel?
Yeah, it does not surprise me. I know he has great respect for you. New York means, even though he's very upset with New York, you rule New York, and he's going to call in. He really appreciates the fact that you're going over there again, as is Mark Levin and other people. You've been such a stalwart defender of Israel, in Israel. Going into the eye of the storm with all these protesters. You do it time and time again. And a year later, I will say this. For the longest time, we heard condemnation that Netanyahu got himself in trouble in Gaza. He's being too indiscriminate with the bombing. I think history will say a different story. But, man, have things changed over the last few weeks. Decapitation of the Hezbollah higher-ups. They wiped out the heir apparent yesterday, the cousin of Nasrallah. They just killed him, along with 8 more. So they're moving forward to wipe out a police. Everyone thought this was impossible. Despite pushback from this government, our government, now they killed it higher up, right, Sinwar's right-hand man. He's days away from death. And now, never more vulnerable is Iran. The Grand Ayatollah better be having a food taster. Gave a speech yesterday, but for the most part, you're going to see, it might even happen when you're there, Sid, massive retribution. And Biden, I think they got to aim for the nuclear sites. They got to blow up the oil. They got to take out the weapons depots. This is the opportunity to take America's number one nemesis since 1979 and take them out, and we better play a role in it.
But, of course, it takes Bibi Netanyahu because, as you say, we better play a role. I have no confidence in Biden or Harris or Blinken or any of these people. Rosh Hashanah was yesterday. I'm still waiting to see Doug Emhoff, who I labeled a crappy Jew with Trump months and months ago, in shul somewhere. Or maybe Kamala Harris lighting the candles. I haven't seen it because I'm always reminded that Kamala must love the Jews because her husband is Jewish. In the meantime, yesterday was Rosh Hashanah. I saw nothing from the Harris family that would have told me that. I do want to move to Trump again, though. Besides coming on with me on Monday, tomorrow, Brian, he's going back to the scene of the crime, back in Butler, Pennsylvania, where right before the RNC in July, a would-be assassin literally shot him. How courageous is Trump, or how crazy is Trump going back to Butler, Pennsylvania?
I think it's great. I mean, I watched Eli Crane say he should not do it. He's a former sniper turned congressman in Arizona. Said, I checked everything out security-wise. He can't be thoroughly protected. I was stunned by that. Then he recommended that Trump get his own security and let them lead and decide when it's safe. The same people that guarded Karzai for years and these Iraqi leaders in war zones. He goes, we know how to keep people safe, but we're using different people to do this. He goes, he's got to lose you until the Secret Service can straighten itself out. This president's too vulnerable. But it will be one of the safest places in America, I hope. Elon Musk will be there, too. They'll have some of the victims' families, the two that were wounded, and maybe Corey's. Corey,
Campanella, he was killed there, yeah.
But his family might be there. So I think that'll be it. And I think that going back to Pennsylvania, where people are going to rally around, those people that were there once, they want to finish it. And I just give the president credit because 2 assassination attempts on his life, ongoing threat from Iran. They have him switching planes on tarmacs to throw off would-be assassins, to get off the Trump plane and maybe go on a private jet. He's paying out of his pocket, by the campaign is anyway. That's how worried they are. And he says, screw it, I'm going back. So I give him great credit. I think the momentum has definitely returned to his camp.
Oh, yeah.
Obama said it. Carville said, why is the slow reaction? You see Obama is going back to the trail and says, the Democrats are complacent. Complacent? I mean, this is the tightest election ever. If they don't move now, I mean, why even be in the party? But both these guys said that, one from the Clinton era, one from the Obama era.
Yeah, I actually had Lara Trump on a couple of days ago, and I was honest with her. I said, about 3 weeks ago, I was nervous. I was. Black lady, all that stuff. And I thought your father-in-law was not very good in the debate. I told her that. I said, but the last week or so, I've got this overwhelming sense of confidence that Trump wins. And by the way, not that close. But on the way out, that doesn't stop, Brian, all these celebrities from publicly endorsing Kamala. And yesterday heard my favorite artist of all time. I play his music on this show all the time. I know he's been a Democrat, liberal his whole life. I know it. But to see Bruce Springsteen cut that video, which I'm sure they're going to play on MSNBC and CNN all morning long, enthusiastically endorsing Kamala and Walz and really hammering Trump. I mean, really hammering Trump. Bruce saying Trump doesn't respect the Constitution, all this nonsense. So I've got a list of artists that I ban on this show, no music. That includes Eric Clapton, Roger Waters, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but as of this morning, Kilmeade, Bruce Springsteen is banned from the Sid Rosenberg show. That hurts.
You know what? It's not hard for me. I never liked the music. I was never impressed with him. Never. I never was into it. It's the least surprising announcement ever. I'm telling you, nobody cares. Nobody cares what Bruce Springsteen says. He wrote a book with Obama.
That's right.
He did a concert for Hillary and Al Gore. The least surprising thing ever, Sid, the fact that you like his music and a guy like Chris Christie likes him and Bruce Springsteen doesn't like him, and he probably doesn't like your show.
Right.
So, I listened to him with Howard Stern. He's as left can be.
Yeah.
So I think that you should hurt him. I wouldn't be surprised with you banning him if his record sales just plummet, maybe to 4 a month.
You are the best.
I don't even know who those 4 people are.
I don't know either. Quickly, we're just one day away. Sometimes you're on earlier in the week. It's tough to say, but one day away from your great show, One Nation, right after Levin, 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Who's going to stop by the big show?
Well, I know for sure we're going to have Michael Waltz. We're going to be dealing with that. I know also, who else have we booked? Tommy Lahren, your idol,
yes,
will be on too. Yes. Who else can I say for sure? We're still working on a few people. David Bellavia, the Medal of Honor recipient,
nice,
is going to be talking about that ground war in Hezbollah, what it's going to take and why we have to take out. Many of his friends died at the hands of the Iranians and those militias. He says this is the time to take him out. A plain-spoken guy from upstate New York. You're going to love to hear from him. And we're still kind of formulating who else we're putting in there. But I think it's going to be a great show. We're going to be live. It's going to be Saturday. We're going to have Pete Hegseth over in at Butler. He's going to be in our studio position there.
Nice.
So, and then we're probably going to get someone from the Trump camp to come over. So we'll figure out to iron it out today. But do not miss the show Saturday night at 9. We are live.
It's a great show, folks. Trust me, not because I'm on it every now and then. It just really is. One Nation, 9 p.m. live tomorrow night on Fox News. I will talk to you from Israel sometime next week, Brian. So have yourself a great weekend. I will stay within myself, but not just in America, but I'll stay within myself in the Middle East as well. How about that, Kilmeade?
Absolutely. I think they're going to be happy to see you. I want you to stay safe, but I'm not even going to insult you by that. You know how to stay safe in Israel. You've been there. You know who to hang out with. You know where to go. And you're with the strongest pound-for-pound country militarily and soon to be economically again in the world. They are showing America and the West how to handle your enemies. and I'm so glad you're going. Stay safe, Sid.
Thank you, buddy. I love you. Thank you. Thank you very much. The great Brian Kilmeade, folks, does a tremendous job following me every weekday morning here on ABC at 10 o'clock. Part of that great Fox and Friends crew on Fox News every weekday morning. And, folks, please, if you haven't seen it yet, check out his own show, One Nation, 9 p.m. every Saturday night on Fox News. Take a short break. 3 more big hours to come your way. Some amazing guests. And, of course, your favorite Curtis Sliwa. He's coming up next right after Noam with the news.